stay tuned as we get towards the general election, where there'll be an even DOJ has done for decades in our great nation. Thank you.
Right. So when you hear about this, it's not that anything's happening that hasn't happened already. I know people get freaked out. It's like, oh no, they're interfering. Look, a lot of these states, they're not keeping clean voter rolls. There are people that are deceased that are on voter rolls. There are people that they haven't removed that have moved out of the state. And newsflash, and this is something I didn't know, and this is something I'm probably going to have to do on the show to walk everybody through. When you leave a state, you don't automatically fall off of their voter rolls. You sit there. And a perfect example is when I had moved here from California. I want to say it was, let's see, when we lived in our house, it was for the 2020 election. I received a registration card asking me if I was going to vote in California with my Georgia address on it, which means I was still under voter. I was like, okay, odd, weird. So I had to go through the process of, looking into it, but it happens. It's very interesting when that happens. So that's something we have to do. You have to, again, unenroll when you leave a state. It doesn't automatically happen. So the next article is Trump and State Department share Rubio's 2020 warning on democratic socialism. And that's happening. And then the prosecutors link suspect to Charlie Kirk assassination in Utah. Yeah, there's some videos that I came across. Basically, there are two different sets of DNA on the gun. So they're going through that. And that's something that came up in the court case. So moving on to all sides, apparently Graham Platner, he ends Senate candidacy amid assault allegation, Dem search for replacement. So Senate candidate Graham Platner dropped out of the race on Wednesday following accusations of sexual assault. And Jenny 𝗧𝗢𝗍𝗑 accused Platner of the assault on Monday, saying he entered her main home uninvited. So a lot of the upper echelon, they decided to not get behind him. And I did watch his video where he was discussing how he was going to step down and the power structure within the Democratic Party. And I was like, it's interesting because from his perspective, it's like, they're taking this away from us. But I'm like, if they wanted to take it away from you sooner, they wouldn't have backed you, So this is going to be very interesting because they're going to have to find somebody within a few days to replace him. Universities release report questioning political bias in the humanities. Yeah, there shouldn't be political bias in universities, but there is. And you've seen some of these young people come out thinking that socialism and communism is just great. Here's my thing. You need to live in these countries that actually practice that and then bring us back proof of concept that is great. You can't be here saying something that everybody knows doesn't work because everybody leaves those countries to come here because their countries aren't working with socialism. Like, it's just weird. It's weird. I'm going to have to find this video of this woman. It was a couple of years ago. She had, I want to say it's probably like 22, 23. And she was in tears because she left a socialist country. And she was like, I hear the same talk and the same rhetoric that I heard from the country that I left. She was like, these young people don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand the damage that socialism causes. Now, we do have quasi-socialism here because we do take our taxes and then we redistribute them and share amongst the people, right? We do have that. But the difference is we actually have a capitalistic system, right? We have that. And we also have representatives that we vote into office. So we have our republic. Now, where we're losing this behind the scenes, because there are people that want to rule and control, and we see it being eroded. And so it's always going to be this power dynamic for control. Now, reports suggest Russian soldiers surviving about 20 to 35 minutes in combat. Very sad. I don't like war. I just don't like seeing it. Now, Trump rings stock market opening bell. Trump accounts officially open. So that was a couple of days ago. Trump says he thinks the Iran ceasefire is over, which is crazy. So y'all, we are right back in the middle of it. I'm not covering that today. I might cover a little bit of that tomorrow. So we definitely know what to pray for. The Olympic Committee eases restriction on Russian athletes ahead of the LA 2028 Summer Games, just allowing them to come back and forth within our borders, right? And a lawsuit alleges ICE violated man's First Amendment rights. We went over that yesterday. So thank you so much for going through this and following up with me. Now let's get into our first article. Now this one's about the Haitians and their TPS status, and that they're losing, I guess their license are being invalidated. But not only that, there is actually an appeal going on with them as well.
Licenses are no longer valid for Haitians living under TPS.
According to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services website, work permits are set to expire just 4 days from now. That'll be July 10th. It's creating some issues for an estimated 12,000 Haitians living in Springfield. 2 News reporter Julian Jackson has been covering this topic. He joins us now live from Springfield. Julian, how is the Haitian community navigating through this big challenge?
Hey, Jack, Lauren, they're taking things day by day is what they're telling me right now. And I do want to make a note of this. Now, we are learning that it is possible that the status of the Haitians holding TPS here in Springfield and across the nation may not end until July 20th. Now, that's because of a recent filing within the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. So we're still working to learn more on that. I talked to a guy earlier today. He said he's lived in Springfield for 5 years, and he said going to work right now is probably not a good idea.
I would say probably not, because they're scared.
After living in Springfield for 5 years, 𝗠𝗨𝗟𝗡 says he's finally thinking about taking the government's offer to self-deport.
They said the government will give like $2,600, and for people who want to go voluntary.
𝗠𝗨𝗪 says he still can't see why the government believes Haiti, which remains under a level 4 travel advisory, is safe for people to return.
If it's not safe for American people, and it's not safe for me as a human, but they don't see it like that.
James Florijan with the Haitian Support Center tells me if it was safe to go back, it's likely that all 350,000 Haitians living in the U.S. under TPS would leave.
Haitians, they're so proud of the country, they are so patriotic, and they love the country. They just stay here just because they don't have a choice.
For the time being, anyone who needs to go to work, needs groceries, or needs to get other appointments are being accommodated through rideshare services and the help of volunteers.
This is what we do to see if we can help them out to endanger themselves, driving without a valid driver's license.
I asked 𝗠𝗨𝗪𝗏 if he still feels safe in Springfield.
People were very, I would say, very kind. Not anymore.
Now, we are still working to learn more, and at this time, with the driver's license expiring, the work permits just 4 days from now, they are still navigating things day by day. Now, what they're telling me is that they just hope that things can be peaceful at this time. We're going to continue following updates and let you know if anything arises. You can follow that here live on air and through the 2 News app.
Okay, so what I wanted to bring up, because I was like, okay, we just got the Supreme Court ruling, but now the circuit court is still trying to see what they can do for the Haitians before they leave. And it's really crazy. I'm like, stop interfering. You were just told the Trump administration, they are ending TPS for this. Because what people don't realize, it was the earthquake that happened back in 2010. TPS is only for 18 months. That's it, at its maximum. People have been here since 2010. It is 2026. Huh? What? Okay. So now it was ended effective February 3rd. It's now July, right? And that's because the Supreme Court had to go in because there was a district court that blocked it, right? finding it likely arbitrary, capricious, and prejudicially flawed and tainted by animus. Basically, long words for saying they don't think that it should be valid, right? Because they're looking at the humanitarian side. But here's the deal. People from Haiti live in Haiti. The reason why it's not safe for Americans, we're not from there. We don't know where to go, okay? And yes, we would be taken hostage for somebody as ransom. That's why it's not safe for